the next part of the cell, that is nucleus. Most of the cells possess a nucleus, which is the controlling center of the cell. Suppose if you see a plant cell, the nucleus is located to the side of the cell. Why? Because in plant cells, in the center there is a large vacuole. Because of the presence of this, the nucleus is to the side. Whereas if you see animal cell, the nucleus is in the center of the cell. Now let us see the structure of a nucleus. So nucleus is a round structure and it has got two membranes, double membranous structure. So to draw that, you have to first draw two circles. Okay, and you can rub here and there and join that part. Otherwise it will be difficult for you to maintain that shape. Okay, so this is the outer membrane of the nucleus and this is the inner membrane. And here the pores are, this is called a nuclear pore. Because this nuclear pore is for transport of substances or communication between nucleus and a cytoplasm. Now inside the nucleus there is a darkly stained structure here. This part is called a nucleolus. This nucleolus actually helps in controlling the cell division and DNA copying, etc. And also there is a jelly-like substance inside the nucleus which is called as nucleoplasm. How cytoplasm is present inside the cell, within the nucleus, nucleoplasm. And you will see there is a thread-like structure inside a cell nucleus during the resting phase. So this is called a chromatin material. Okay. So you must have heard of a few terminologies like chromosomes, DNA, gene, chromatin. Okay. So we have to clearly learn where do you find these structures or what are these structures. So first, chromosomes. Chromosomes are actually rod-shaped structures like this present in the cell when it is about to divide. So only in the nucleus of dividing cell you will find rod-shaped structures and they are called chromosomes. Okay, so if you open this chromosome part, because it is highly coiled structure, so if you open that, you can see that is nothing but it is made up of a structure like this. Okay, so this structure is called a chromatin. Okay, so that is what is seen here. So this is the chromatin. Okay, so when the cell is not dividing, if you look at the nucleus under a microscope, you will see a thread-like structure. Okay, so that thread-like structure is called a chromatin material. And when the cell is dividing, what happens? The chromatin material will coil to form a rod-shaped structure called a chromosome. Is that clear? So chromatin material is becoming chromosome at the time of division. So time of division, if you look at the nucleus, you will see only chromosome, you cannot find chromatin. Otherwise, if you are seeing a normal cell without dividing, you will see only chromatin, you will not be able to see chromosome. Okay. Now, so these two are clear now. Now what about DNA and gene? So here, if you look at this chromatin in detail, so this chromatin is made up of two things. This black color, this thread-like structure is actually having a shape like this in the form of a double helix. It's like this. Okay. So if you draw enlarge, it is like this. So this is called a DNA or deoxyribonucleic acid. Okay. So nucleic acid means inside the nucleus the genetic material is called a nucleic acid. They can be of two types, DNA or deoxyribonucleic acid and RNA or ribonucleic acid. So we have DNA as our genetic material. RNA is found as genetic material in some viruses. So DNA genetic material means what? It contains the information for our characters. So we are looking like our parents, or we have the features like our parents. Why? Because we have inherited their DNA. Okay, so the DNA contains information for all our characters. So this DNA is actually coiling for making the chromosomes, right? So for that some proteins are used. So these red color parts are the proteins. Okay, so when DNA and proteins are coming together, then that is called a chromatid. So chromatin has protein and DNA. Protein is just used for packing that DNA or coiling that DNA, but DNA is the actual information containing material. So in which form the information is present? It is in the form of certain sequences of nitrogen bases. All those details you will learn in higher class. Okay, now so I think DNA is also clear. So DNA is the genetic material which will coil around protein to form a structure called a chromatin. That chromatin again coil further to form a rose-shaped structure called a chromosome during cell division. Okay, now the last part is gene. So this DNA is a long molecule. Okay, it has different parts having information for different characters. So those units are called a gene. So this is gene 1 or this is gene 2. Like this, thousands of genes are present in DNA. For example, maybe this part, the information for your skin color, or this part, information for your height. So like that, for every character, genes are controlling the character. Okay, so genes are actually the functional unit of DNA which is controlling or carrying information for a particular character. Okay, so hope all these are clear. DNA is our genetic material, but DNA is found as chromatin associated with the protein in a cell, but at the time of division that will again condense to form a rose-shaped structure called a chromosome. DNA has functional units called genes which is controlling certain characters. So if we discuss the functions of nucleus, I told you nucleus is like the brain of a cell, right? So brain controls all the functions of our body. The same way the nucleus is controlling all the functions of the cell. It determines the way in which the cell will develop, or all the activities of the cell also controlled by nucleus, and also it controls the cell division. Hope you enjoy my teaching. If so, please like, share and subscribe to my channel Biology My Passion.